What is the one thing standing between you and your freedom? According to the great Roman philosopher Seneca, it's your desires. We can't be free, he says, until we master our desires. But what exactly did Seneca mean by that? In this video, we're going to unpack his formula for emotional independence, discover how to use it to take control of our feelings and ultimately our lives. Epicurus once said that the chief task in life is to separate our desires from things that are indifferent. And nowhere is this more important than in our relationships. For instance, imagine that you're in a relationship and you really want your partner to change. Maybe they're not as attentive as you would like them to be. Or perhaps they don't prioritize the relationship as you do. Now, despite your best efforts, your partner doesn't change. So what do? You can stay in the relationship hoping they will change, or you can leave the relationship and find someone else. These two options are completely within your control. However, your desire for your partner to change is not. And so Epicurus would say that this desire is an impediment to your freedom, because it's something that is up to you, but it's also something that you cannot control. This is why Epicurus said that the wise person has no enemies but their own desires. It's not external circumstances that enslave us, but our inability to let go of things that are beyond our control. According to Seneca, there are 3 types of desires that we must master if we're ever to be truly free. The first type of desire is for things that are in our control. Seneca believed that we should pursue these desires with all of our might. Why? Because when we exert our will and bring about the things that we want, it increases our sense of self-mastery and independence. Not only that, but by pursuing and attaining these things, we also learn what it's like to have our desires fulfilled. And so, the next time we experience a desire, we'll know what it feels like to have it satisfied and be better equipped to handle it. The second type of desire is for things that are not in our control. A perfect example of this is wanting to be famous. Now, Seneca didn't necessarily have a problem with desiring these kinds of things per se, but rather the amount of time, energy, and attention that we give to them. When we fixate on things that are outside of our control, we become anxious and unhappy because we place our well-being in the hands of fate or fortune. In other words, we give up our freedom. As Seneca famously wrote, "We are not disturbed by things, but by our opinions of them." The main thing to remember is to keep our focus on what we can actually control, and that's really just our thoughts and actions, and to let go of the things that are not in our control. Easier said than done, right? And then there's the third type of desire, which is for things that are not actually desirable at all. The Stoics refer to these as pseudo-desires, or false desires. They arise when we mistake a means for an end. For instance, imagine that you're cold, and so you want a fire. Now, having a fire would certainly be a means to getting warm, but being warm is the actual end that you really want. Or maybe you see someone laughing and having a good time, and so you think to yourself, I want that. But what you actually want is to feel happy. So the key here is to ask ourselves, why do I really want this thing? By doing so, we can often uncover these pseudo-desires and free ourselves from wanting things that don't actually make us happy. So those are Seneca's 3 types of desires. Now, how exactly do we master them? Well, Seneca believed that the best way to deal with the first type of desire, the things that are in our control, is to simply do what we want to do. The more that we exert our will and bring about the things that we want, the easier it will be to handle our desires. For the second type of desire, the things that are not in our control, the best approach, according to Seneca, is to practice indifference. That is, we should neither pursue these things with desire nor avoid them with fear. In this way, we free ourselves from the anxiety and worry that often accompany our desires. And finally, for the third type of desire, the pseudo-desires, the best approach is to practice mindfulness. By reflecting deeply on our desires, we can often uncover these false desires and free ourselves from wanting things that don't actually make us happy. Ultimately, the goal of this whole process is to live a life of virtue and happiness. And this is something that every one of us can do, according to Seneca. All it takes is a willingness to reflect on our desires and a commitment to living according to nature. Now, if you liked this video, I think you'll really love the video on Marcus Aurelius's 4-step process for dealing with adversity. You can check on my channel. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.